Yes guys, in this video we've got day 2 from Fort William. Hoping to answer you the question, is it really worth hiring a downhill bike for Fort William? I'm going to assume that you're just going to go and do the downhill track because I would not recommend hiring the downhill bike for Top Chief, the other trail from the gondola. So let's just start off with how much it cost and the specs of the bike. So I hired the downhill bike from Nevis Cycles, and it's the Trek Session that they have. I believe they are getting the newest Trek Session, but when we hired, they had the previous model. It was £90 to hire the bike. It had 27.5 wheels, boxer forks. I think they were about 200mm travel. Had a coil shock on it as well. And it also had SRAM guide brakes. I think the pedals were just plastic pedals, which wasn't the best. There was one disclaimer when you hired the bike, and that was you must pay for any damage occurring due to rider error. So I guess if you really had a bad crash and really damaged the bike, I don't know, it could end up expensive, but I think for small things they probably would just let you off. Right, now all that spiel's out of the way, I'm going to show you some footage of the day, and then I will talk about if I thought the hiring of the downhill bike is worth it or not. I'm very nervous now. Right, here we go boys.
First bit's fun, is it?
I was even sketchy on that, to be honest.
Getting used to the bike.
Yeah.
Aye, same here.
You just pushing down this bit first. Yep. I didn't really know where I was going on there, so I was just too...
left there. Yeah.
The bike feels good though, eh? Feels,
gives you a bit of confidence.
Feels great on the bumpy bits.
Up the bum.
Totally.
That was pretty good.
Nice. Oh yeah, lovely. there? Right.
Right, definitely.
This one looks a bit dodgy.
Down the middle here.
Oh man, downhill bike is class, like, loving it. Which is the hardest part of the track then?
That.
Is it? Okay, nice.
We're all good now.
That was actually fine, I'm surprised how okay that was.
Once you get the lines, it was a lot of right, and then left.
But I was expecting it, like, even when you stopped and looked at the line to be like, oh, I'm still not sure, but it was actually not too bad.
These bikes did a lot of that work.
Yeah. That's the old one there then.
I'm not sure if it's the old one, I'm not sure what the crack is with it, to be honest with you.
that was ace. So now you've seen some footage, I'll just go through some of the things that I liked and some of the things I didn't. So I'll start with the things that I didn't, or that might not be so good for some people. So the first thing that I noticed is obviously you won't be that used to the bike. So a downhill bike is pretty heavy if you've not ridden one before. I normally ride a 29er and the wheels were 27.5 on it. I didn't find it that big a deal, but some people it might annoy. The bike's not set up for yourself very well either. They just kind of guess due to your weight how much air to put in the shock and that type of stuff. It does cost £90. That's obviously a bit of a disadvantage. You know, if you go on your own bike, it costs you nothing if nothing goes wrong. A couple of the things I was pretty disappointed about on the bike as well with the SRAM guide brakes. For me, they're really just not good enough for a trail of that length and level. The brakes really just feel like they're not responding by the end of the trail. The other thing was the pedals are plastic, so I did hit the pedals a few times and they were disintegrating very badly by the end of the day. So some of the pluses of the bike, for me personally, I found the bike so forgiving. I really liked how plush the suspension was compared to my enduro, and they're just much more capable than a normal enduro bike in my opinion as well. If you do have a lesser bike, not top of the range enduro or something like that, the damage that you would do to your own bike, even if you weren't breaking parts, just the wear and tear on your suspension, for me that could easily add up to £90 value or more anyway. You know, if you dent a rim or something like that. So finally, is it really worth hiring the downhill bike? So in response to that, I would just say it really depends. So if you have a really good bike, a really good enduro, super enduro bike with high travel, personally I'd maybe think that it's probably not worth hiring. I'd probably just go with a super enduro, you know, 180mm travel with a good brand fork. But for me, it was completely worth it. My enduro bike is only 150mm travel, and the wheels are not particularly strong. I really feel like putting my bike through that, I would have been talking a couple of £100 worth of damage by the end of the day. So yeah, if I went back, I would definitely hire the downhill bike again if I was doing the downhill track. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully it will be some use if you're considering hiring a downhill bike when you're going to Fort William. Thanks for watching.